afternoon, everyone. I'm Crystal Varela, and I really want to thank Michaela for adding me to the team and taking me in when I don't have a coach that is active. She's become more of a discount coach than anything, and it's just I had nowhere to go. So she took me in. Heather and I are success partners, and she really encouraged me to talk to Michaela, and it's been great. And I want to thank everyone for joining this call. Personal development has been a huge thing for me. I'm going to share my screen real quick. And so I wanted to talk about it. Oh, wrong screen. Give me 1 second. I have two monitors, so my computer is having a hard time figuring out which monitor to use for the PowerPoint. Okay, I think I got it. There we go. So personal development has been huge for me because I haven't had the easiest of lives, and I used to let it define me, and it really made my life super hard. So my mantra is I am me, and that's who I'll be, and I'll explain how I came to that in a minute. But to start off, I want to show a little bit about before personal development, the transition, and it's personal development. So there's pictures on the screen for those who are on the computer. The first one looks like a prom one because it is, and it was my first year going to prom, and I went because one guy just didn't have a date, and I was a freshman, and hey, I wanted to go. I hung out with all the juniors and seniors. So I was super self-conscious. I had giant round glasses, and I hated it. I hated myself. The next picture is me with the dog I had at the time. And if you are looking at it, the expression on my face is disgust. I just was not happy. The next picture, there's me and my friend Twit. And then a picture of me with a gentleman. This was while I was in college. I joined a business fraternity, Delta Sigma Pi. And my life at that time was all about, one, making it in life, and two, drinking. I drank to let go of everything. So a little bit about my life. I grew up in the middle of nowhere, a very small town. The whole school, from kindergarten to 12th grade, had about 200 people in it. I moved there in the middle of kindergarten and was not received very well. They didn't receive outsiders. It was very tight-knit community. And if you're an outsider, you really, really got the wrath of them. And I was picked on all the time. One of the things that they loved to pick on me for was how poor I was. My parents couldn't afford clothes, and my grandmother, who actually bought our clothes, bought them at thrift stores or Walmart, and that wasn't good enough for them. So they picked on me. When I was 12 in seventh grade, I was in basketball. My older sister, I have two sisters. My older sister had her first baby. She had just turned 18 when she had him. But she had him, and then 4.5 months later, he died. And that's a whole nother story that I'm not going into now. But at the same time, my parents were also getting divorced. My dad is a drug addict, alcoholic, and my mom only depends on everyone else. She can't provide for herself. It was a very stressful time for me. I was in basketball and that, and I wasn't any good at all. I don't know why I played basketball. I think it was just to get into something and out of the house. But I mentioned the basketball because we were so poor. I didn't eat when we were on away games. My parents never gave me money. So I was always hungry. And sadly, I worked in the little concession stand that I can't even remember what group I was in that ran it, but I stole so much candy from there because that was my lunch. That's what I could eat because it was either do that or not eat or eat really disgusting cafeteria food. So to erase a lot of my past at the time, I was drinking a lot. Back to the college pictures. The night before I drove up to Denver, Colorado, which is the second picture with me looking like shit, I went to a concert. I was supposed to be the DD. Supposed to be. I did not be the DD. I was flat out drunk. I was still hungover the next day so horribly. Wherein I got a haircut, I got my hair colored, and I had to drive 7 hours to Denver. It was a disaster. The next picture at the bottom that you see is my move to Oxford, Ohio to be a consultant for my fraternity. And I thought it was great. I'll get out of New Mexico, I'll get away from hell and be happy. The only bad thing is I was living the college life that I didn't live and without the homework, and so I partied everywhere I went. I drank so much. I ate so much, and that's where most of my before pictures come from. I gained a lot of weight, and I just wasn't happy. The last picture is me and my now husband shortly after we had met, and we were at the Balloon Fiesta in Albuquerque, and I put that as a before picture because I look happy there. I was in my glasses. I was so self-conscious about everything. Especially my glasses, I hated them. My contacts, my eyes weren't allowing me to wear them very much. And so I had my glasses and I was self-conscious. I was self-conscious about being with him. I was self-conscious about what people thought just about me in general. I was self-conscious about what his family thought. And it's just a mess. I would go nights after hanging out with his family, and I'd cry and I'd cry and I'd cry, and it'd be you could consider it a fight, but it really wasn't. It was me saying his family hates me, and going on and crying and crying and crying, and him just trying to explain to me that no, they just have to get to know me, and that's how family is. It's normal. And so went through a lot of that. The middle picture is me after becoming a coach. I was having a really rough day. I was actually working from home at one of my last jobs. And you see a couple vision boards in the background and some inspirational pictures that I posted on my wall. I went through a lot of those days of struggling. And all the after pictures are me being comfortable to just take pictures whenever and be happy. And it's me. And I can't even begin to explain how much I've changed and how happy I am and how much I don't worry anymore. One of the pictures is actually me with a couple coaches that I didn't know who they were until a week before Summit. My roommates bailed on me and I had to find people, and I found these two ladies from Team Ford Fitness, and it was great. It was a wonderful week with them, and we ran into Autumn Calabrese, and we were bold enough to ask her for a quick picture, even though she didn't have time. One of the pictures is me with a couple of girls that I met on a half marathon that I just did. I just started talking to them, and we hung out. And then the last picture is actually from this weekend with my mother-in-law in town, and just having a great time. So I went from being an alcoholic pretty much. I probably was considered that, to being super happy. And I only drink now because I want the flavor of it. I don't drink to get drunk. I actually hate the feeling. So the first book that got me started in personal development is Staying Strong by Demi Lovato. Funny story, my husband is like her second, third, or fourth cousin. So that's pretty awesome. But I saw this I don't know where I saw it. I think she posted it on Facebook, and just the title got me. And I started doing this January 2014, and I didn't sign up to be a coach until June 2014. So I started this book before I actually started with Beachbody, and it started helping me. So I came up with my mantra because the first entry for January 1st was Demi saying how she came up with a mantra and how she repeats it to herself, especially when she's having a bad day and when she's struggling with her previous addictions and things. So hers was, "You're beautifully and wonderfully made." Mine is, "I am me, and that's who I'll be." I came up with that because I've always tried to be what everyone else wants me to be, what I thought they wanted me to be. I never thought I could be myself, or myself wasn't good enough. And that stemmed from a long time of growing up being told I'm worthless. All I need to do is graduate high school, otherwise they don't care. My parents didn't care what I did. Right after graduating, being asked when I'm going to start popping out kids. My parents never had any inkling of me ever going further than high school. They just wanted me to graduate high school and didn't care what else I did. My older sister is a drug addict, in and out of jail, whole kinds of a mess. My younger sister is an entitled little bitch. I'm sorry for my language. But if you don't give her what she wants, she will ruin your life to get what she wants. And so I was there in the middle, and I just wanted a life. I didn't want drama. I didn't want drugs or anything. So I came up with "I am me, and that's who I'll be," because I need to learn, and it's work in progress every day. I need to learn to be me because that's who I am. I don't need to try and be somebody else. And so these 4 quotes are just some of the quotes that really stuck out to me from her book. I've read it twice now. I'm on the 2nd year. And it's something that I'm going to continue reading because no matter how many times I read it, there's something new that always pops out. One of the big things that really caught me was the quote by Zig Ziglar: "We cannot start over, but we can start now and make a new ending." I always wanted to start over. I wanted to be adopted when I was a baby. I wanted a new family. I didn't want to be a part of what I grew up with. And I hated it. I just wanted it out. But as I started reading Demi's book, I started realizing that it's okay where I came from. It doesn't define me. What defines me is who I am now and what I'm doing with my life. And so that quote really stuck out to me. Before personal development, I was full of fear, self-hate, negative self-talk, and a need for constant control. Oh my gosh, I had to control everything. And yeah, I still have a bit of that, a lot of that, but I can give it up. It doesn't control my life having to have control. I've always been afraid of everything. Afraid of success, afraid of friends because I've never had a lot of friends. Afraid of not succeeding, afraid of what people thought, afraid of what they might think, just afraid. Yes, I've hated myself most of my life. I had a lot of suicidal thoughts growing up. Never actually did anything about it, but I did have thoughts of running away. I didn't even care. My dad was a truck driver at one point, so I was like, I'm just gonna go to the highway and hitchhike a ride with the truck driver. Who cares? Like, I just wanted away. And I hated myself. I hated everything about myself. I hated my body. I hated my vision. I hated that I was smart because I got made fun of for it. I hated everything. And I always talked really horrible to myself. I told myself I was a horrible person. I told myself I wasn't good enough. I told myself I would never be good enough. I told myself that I was worthless. I was worse than dirt because that's how I was treated. And so that's what I thought was normal. These are some of the quotes that really have helped me as I go through personal development. I look at them often. I actually have a huge folder on my Dropbox just for quotes. And I looked at everything as being something I can't overcome, that I'll always be stuck where I'm at. Yes, I'll post them all. I have a lot more on here too. I always thought I'd be stuck. I didn't grow up wealthy, so I'd never get anywhere that I could reach my dreams because that's not what poor people did. Poor people didn't, you know, they never became anything. Either you grew up wealthy and you were always wealthy, or you were always poor. That's what my impression was. That's all I knew. And then I started personal development. And I realized that with reading Staying Strong, Demi didn't grow up in the best life, but she got into acting and it helped her. And then she also got into drugs and she had one hell of a ride. And she put herself in rehab and she got out of it. And look at where she is today. She's amazing. So it's one of those things that I really worked on, realizing that, yes, I grew up poor, but that does not define me. Yes, I grew up with my parents fighting and blaming it on me a lot of the time. I grew up with all that, but that doesn't define me. What defines me is what I do now, what I do with my life from this day forward. And so I made some notes from some of the books that I've read, and one is forgiveness. I held everything that my parents did as a burden of hate, a burden of this is my life, and it really brought me down. And there's still things, stupid little things that I grew up with that I am learning that is not normal for families to do. And my husband actually, bless his heart, he helps me out so much because I don't know how he's with me. I was a big ball of a mess, and some days I still am, especially around hormonal times. But he bears with me, and he helps me believe, and he helps me see optimism in life. And so it is amazing. So from Spirit Junkie, forgiveness is one thing I have had to work on and is a constant work in progress for me. And she has a 3-step process in there that she actually goes into huge detail with, and I'm gonna just touch on the subject a little bit. The first is recognize the illusion. So she talks a lot about how your ego creates an illusion and about a situation, and it tends to reflect the darkness that's within you rather than the darkness of the situation or what comes from other people. So one thing I've had to look at is the darkness and the illusion around everything that I let define me as I grew up. And I had to find that illusion and realize, no, it's not that I'm creating an illusion. It's that, yes, this happened, but my ego is making it so much more and not letting me get past it. And then she says to release that judgment. So all the judgment within that illusion, you need to stop. You need to let go of that judgment because you're judging the other person for what they did, but it helps keep the unforgiveness alive and it helps you stay hurt. And so you have to be willing to forgive. And you can't be willing to forgive if you don't recognize the illusion, if you don't release the judgment around that situation. And so she refers to the Course in Miracles a lot in Spirit Junkie. And so one of the quotes was, do you prefer to be right or be happy? That really hit me. And it's actually something I highlighted in the book because it made me think back to everything that I haven't forgiven and ask myself, am I just trying to be right and be the right person in that situation? Or am I trying to be happy? Pretty much all of it was I was trying to be right. That I was trying to be right for what they wronged me. So one thing that I've been working on is trying to be happy and forgive the situation. Maybe not fully forgive the person yet. I've forgiven a lot of the situations, but not the people at the moment. I'm still working on that. That one is a lot harder. And then she says to say out loud, I am willing to release the wall that I have placed between us. And that's something I'm definitely working on. One thing is my dad. I'm not willing to go into everything that I feel towards my dad, but I can't even be around him. When he's around at my grandma's, when I go to visit her and he tries to give me a hug, I deflect somehow. I can't be around him. And so one thing I'm really trying to work on is saying, I am willing to release the wall that I've placed between us. And it's not to allow him back into my life. It's allow me to forgive him and to not clam up and be this ball of a wall when he's around. I need to be able to be myself with my grandma, and I haven't been able to because I put up that wall and I clam up. And so forgiveness is a huge thing that personal development is helping me with, because I've never been able to forgive anybody because I thought forgiving them meant I had to let them in my life. And it's not that at all. Forgiveness frees you, not them. Forgiveness helps you move forward with life. I have a lot of quotes that I will go through towards the end because I'm trying to keep this concise. One thing that in the Power of Now that I read is, time is what keeps the light from reaching us. There is no greater obstacle to God than time. And I know not everyone has a relationship with God, but I relate that back to forgiveness, because forgiveness is part of time. And if you just focus on the past, then it's an obstacle to forgiveness. And so stop focusing on the past, focus on the future, and you will be able to work on your forgiveness a lot easier. And for those of us who have a relationship with God, having that relationship and letting time go when you're in that relationship, it helps a lot with forgiveness. Another thing is subconscious versus subconscious minds. And this comes from You Are a Badass, one of my favorite books. I've just finished it for the second time. The first thing is, our subconscious mind contains the blueprint for our lives. It's running the show based on the unfiltered information it gathered when we were kids, otherwise known as our beliefs. That's one thing that I did. I didn't let anything new come in. I always focused on what I knew as a kid and what I was taught and everything about being a kid and growing up at that time. And I wouldn't let any other beliefs come in because it wasn't right. This is what I was taught when I was a kid, and that's what was right. And so my subconscious was taking over. It wouldn't let me learn. It wouldn't let me become the person that I want to be. The second is, we are, for the most part, completely oblivious to these subconscious beliefs that run our lives. I was completely oblivious. But once I became knowing of these beliefs that just are underneath it all, a huge light bulb opened. And it was crazy because I felt a release, and I felt a door open to where I could work on everything that I was taught and really learn and expand and grow myself. The last part for this was, when our conscious minds finally develop and show up for work, no matter how big and smart and highfalutin they grow to be, they're still being controlled by the beliefs we're carrying around in our subconscious minds. My life it's no longer being that way because I am in control. I'm working through meditation, through Bible study, through personal development, to control that subconscious mind, and to not necessarily control it, but free it and not let it take over my life anymore, because my life was hell when my subconscious mind was in control. Our subconscious mind doesn't actually think about anything. It's just in control. Our conscious mind is what does all the thinking, and our subconscious mind actually controls what our conscious mind thinks about. So through a lot of work, you can get over that. And that's what You're a Badass and Spirit Junkie have helped me to do. Those are the two books that have really resonated with me in the last year. Here's a couple more things from You're a Badass. One is, if we really love ourselves, everything in our life works. I hated myself. Nothing worked. As soon as I started loving myself, life actually started working. I started finding happiness, and I started finding things that I thought I never could have, like the home I live in with my husband and the happiness in my relationship. Once I started loving myself, it's gotten so much better. So she has a 9-step list here. Appreciate how special you are. You are special. I don't give a crap what anybody else says. You are special, and don't let anybody else tell you any different. Drown yourself in affirmations. One of the pictures you saw on my before and after was a wall of affirmations. Yes, I'm in a new office. I haven't got it all up yet, but what you're looking at on the screen are some of the affirmations that I look at and that I remind myself, especially, you are amazing, and remember that, because I am amazing no matter what anybody tells me, and I will always be amazing. Third is do things you love. I always did things for others, not for what I wanted. I'm starting to finally do things that I love for me, and it feels so amazing. Fourth, find a replacement. So for all those words of I'm a horrible person, I am a wonderful person. Replace those negative words, replace the self-hate with positive words. And say it over and over and over again, and you'll actually start to believe it, and you'll realize it's true. You don't have to just try and convince yourself. It is actually true. Number 5, ditch the self-depreciating humor. So if you do something silly or stupid and you just start to talk crap about yourself and how stupid you are and all that, stop it. It's not helpful. That your mind and your subconscious believes that. So stop it. Yeah, make fun of it for a second or two and then move on. Don't keep telling yourself how horrible you are. That's one thing I did a lot. I am a very clumsy person, and I dwelt on that. So I've been working on ditching that hate for being clumsy and actually laughing about it and being happy about it. Number 6, let the love come in. Not everyone lets love come in. I was one of those people. I wouldn't let people love me. When I first got with my husband, I wouldn't let his mom show me love. I have never had good parental relationships, and she just wanted to take me in as a daughter. She wanted to show me love. She wanted to give me things. She wanted to do what a mom would do for a daughter, and I wouldn't let it happen. I was so worried that it was me living off of her that I wouldn't let it happen. I can happily say I let the love come in, and I let her do whatever she wanted this past weekend while she was here, even spend money on me. And even though it was hard, I let it happen, and it felt so good because I could see how happy it made her. Number 7, don't compare yourself to others. You hear this all the time in all the trainings that we do. Don't compare yourself to others. I don't have to elaborate on that. I just know that you've heard it. And for me, I've always compared myself, every little thing, down to my nose, to my eyes, to how my fingernails looked, everything. Once I stopped, I actually love myself, and it feels amazing. Number 8, forgive yourself. That's something that I've had a really hard time with. Is I've done a lot of stupid things and a lot of things that I honestly never believed in. It just happened, and I was not in the best mind when it happened, and I held on to that and beat myself up about it so much. But I'm starting to forgive myself, and part of that for me has been asking for God's forgiveness. And as I ask for God's forgiveness, I forgive myself a little more each day. So please forgive yourself. You'll be a lot happier as you do. And number 9, love yourself, because it's the holy grail of happiness. As long as you love yourself, you will be happy no matter what happens to you. And I know I'm going long, so I'm going to start cutting this short. But here at the end of the You Are a Badass, she has another list of 9 things to do to keep your life on a good track, get it there, and be happy. And so I'll run through this quickly. 1, give your bad habits the heave-ho. Any bad habit you have, get rid of it. Whether it's negative self-talk or beating yourself up for little things or eating like crap. Just give it the heave-ho. Don't let people get in your way. If you're always a yes person and a no person, it's a bad habit. Get rid of it. You need to be a no person sometime because you need to take charge of your life and do for you. Number 2, breathe amongst the people. So what she means here is take a moment to breathe. If you're having a stressful time, take a moment to breathe, clear your mind, Check in with your body, become present in the moment, and connect to whatever your source energy is, and then tackle whatever's happening. If you do that, things will be a lot easier. Quick story on that. I was laid off on June 25th. In the past, I've freaked out when I've been laid off, and it's been a huge disaster, and it's been awful. Sitting in that room, being told I was being laid off and that I only got 2 weeks pay and that I could do nothing about it. I normally would have bawled, started crying, but I just breathed, cleared my mind and said, well, this is life. I can't change it. I can't make it any different. I'm going to go with whatever's happening, and I'm going to go through this process. It helped for that moment. It helped me get out of the building and drive home and not freak out. And it's a process that I really try and do when there's a stressful situation happening. So number 3, hang high, kick ass. Go out there, do what you want to, do what you feel is best, and kick ass at it. Don't let people tell you that you're not allowed to do it. Just go out there and kick ass. 4, set honest goals. Don't set goals that you think people will want to see. Set goals for you and that you honestly want. Number 5, read your manifesto. So go back and read those goals. So write down your dream life, write down your why. Go back and read that, because continuously reading that reminds you why you're doing what you're doing and why you want to go where you want to go. Because if you don't read it, you can easily get off track. And that's how so many of us have bad months. We just forget why we are doing what we're doing. Number 6, get out your credit card and pay for some help. So if you are truly at a point where you can't get anywhere and it's emotionally or mentally or physically draining you, or just a huge wall, if you need to, please go get help, is what she's saying. What she's saying is either like a coach, like a Gabrielle Bernstein kind of coach, or a coach for fitness. We're all here. We're all coaches. We've done that part already. Keep going at it and look to your coach for help. They are here to help you. Number 7, get your body in on it. We're here. We're getting our body in on it. That's what we're doing with fitness. So keep doing it. And if you don't feel like working out today, push play anyways, or go take a long walk. Do something to get your body moving, because once you get your body moving, you feel so much better. Number 8, use your secret weapons. What songs make you feel good? What clothes do you feel good in? Anything that makes you feel good, those are your secret weapons. If you just need to put makeup on for a day and do your hair and feel good, or sit at home and do a manicure, go get a pedicure, anything, do it. If you're having a rough time, turn to your feel goods and go back to them, because those are what cheer you up and you can get right back into whatever you need to do. And number 9, love yourself with a kung fu grip. She is always in this book telling you, love yourself. That's one of her biggest things, is you have to love yourself to be able to do anything. So with personal development, I now believe in myself. I have a sense of self-love. I talk to myself with positive words through this whole layoff situation and looking for jobs, or when I was going to depend on unemployment, even though I can't because of Beachbody. I've always talked positive to myself. I'll get through it. It's gonna happen. And it helps a lot, because when I'm positive, I don't dwell on the negative, and it helps me see the light. And honestly, now, yes, I still like being in control, but I have the ability to go with the flow. And I've done really well with that the past couple months, even though I've had no schedule. I'm a very schedule-oriented person, and so I've gone with the flow so much that when my husband and I went on a trip, just back in February, he had no idea how to handle that I had nothing planned. He's so used to me planning everything that he couldn't understand. He was lost because I didn't plan everything. So I've learned to go with the flow and to just live life and to love it. And my wish for you coming out of this webinar and all your personal development is that you surrender your fear like I have. Keep surrendering your fear. Any new fear that comes up, surrender it. Take the leap and live your life on purpose. Once I started doing that, it has felt so amazing. So out of these three on here, I just wanted to tell you that anytime that somebody is having a bad day and just saying that they need hugs or something, I usually comment in their comments with the "you are loved" and "you are valuable" picture. And people actually say thank you. I don't say words, I just put this. And people say thank you for it because it's something that we all want to hear. We want to be told we're loved. We want to be told that we're valuable. And if other people are not going to tell you, tell yourself. I had to learn how to tell myself because other than my husband, nobody told me I was loved. Nobody told me I was valuable. Nobody ever told me they were proud of me. And so I started telling myself. My husband tells me all the time. And so my whole life has become a bright and shining kind of thing because I started loving myself and I started telling myself that I was valuable. And personal development, honestly, is something that has been amazing and it's changed my life, and I can tell when I don't do it. And I hope that you make time to, even if it's 5 or 6 pages a day, take and do some kind of personal development. Find something that has a daily devotional or daily entry like staying strong. And if that's all you have the time for to start with that. Take 2 minutes to read it. Listen to podcasts, something, because I know that when I do my PD, my life is so much better because I believe in myself. So that's all I had to say today. I did see a lot of comments and I want to thank everyone. And I'll post all of the pictures that I had in my slideshow in the group here in a few minutes. And Michaela will post the recording here soon. Thank you all.